I truly believed that I had the perfect marriage with the perfect husband. I never knew he was a predator. I never knew that I was living with a child rapist.
Lorenzo Arredondo has been charged with 14 sex crimes. The suspect is accused of posting a 17-year-old boy raping a young girl, recording it and posting it on a pornographic site.
The detective brought me over to a computer. He covered the girl's private parts and showed me my ex-husband's face. I have never felt so much rage and hate for somebody in my life. I felt like I was gonna pass out, seeing his face and identifying him and knowing that this was all real.
An Oklahoma City police investigation revealed 30-year-old Lorenzo Arredondo was behind the fake profile. He used the name Frankie Garcia on social media. The first victim, a 14-year-old girl, told her family in November that she met him through Facebook and they started a sexual relationship.
The detective showed me a 2-inch thick file who the person I had been living with really was. I was completely shocked and devastated to see the list of charges. Some of them included child rape, creating and producing child pornography, and forcible.
Police opened a second case on the man when the father of a 13-year-old girl notified officers about an unusual note.
Followed her home and left a note on her porch telling her he wanted to meet her.
The suspect left his phone number and Snapchat name on the note. Investigators were eventually led to Arredondo.
He did make contact with another juvenile female victim. The other alleged victim most likely was not ready to disclose any of the sexual in nature things happening to her.
I had no idea that my ex-husband was living a double life. It's terrifying that I could sleep next to such a monster every night for 10 years and never knew that I was sleeping next to evil.
Well, joining me virtually is Brittany, and Brittany, I'm really glad that you're willing to talk about this because it's a real teachable moment for those that get on the internet and for these young kids that are out there not knowing who they're talking to. Now, the first time this happened, obviously you were in shock. You had a hard time believing this could be the man you had been sleeping with for 10 years.
I was in complete shock. And it was the biggest betrayal of my life.
And when this happened, this was like 2:30 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, it was right before I had to go pick up my son from school. And I had to pull myself together and act like the most tragic thing of my life didn't just happen and go pick up my son from school.
And you found out that they had been watching the two of you for 6 months, right?
Yes, that was very hard for me, just knowing that they had all of our messages, all of our calls. They had been outside of our house even watching us. It was terrifying.
They had a 2-inch file on who your husband really was.
So whenever I went to go sit with the detective, he pulls out a 2-inch file telling me how much of a monster he really was. One of the things specifically that really stuck with me was he would take advantage of the time dropping our son off at school to prey on children that were walking to school. And the detective showed me one text specifically where he texted a little girl that she looked sexy with her backpack on walking to school.
So he was using your son as a prop, essentially, to have a reason to be around all these children.
Yeah.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.